Hi guys, today we're going to explore the biggest mistakes that I made back at the start of my property investing journey and see if we can help you avoid making those same ones. Okay, so exploring the beginning of my property investing journey, I don't think it's particularly different to many others. And early doors with any new skill, business, sport, task is usually littered with mistakes, and I guess that's perceivably how we learn. The interesting thing about property investment is those mistakes can be quite valuable and quite expensive. So would it not make sense to try and negate those mistakes that others have made by learning through this process? So the most common theme of people starting property investing is that they'll go out and try and do everything themselves. I was no different at all. But where did my biggest mistakes come from? Well, I think for me, it was mistakes around construction. One of the biggest risks in investing in property, certainly in a buy, refurbish, refinance sort of strategy, is that construction element. And I think that was probably where I was furthest behind, where I lacked the most knowledge. But yes, I plugged on and sort of thought I could do it myself, thought I could do it better and cheaper than the professional organisations that had quoted for my work. And those mistakes were quite costly. And not costly in just a financial sense, but also from a time perspective. And I always tell the story of my first HMO, 6-bed HMO refurbishment, and being sort of quoted for a team with a real drawings package, a professional sort of quoting mechanism, and they came back at around £70,000. And I was dead set that I should be able to deliver this for about 50. So took on the project management of that property myself, liaised with the various separate subcontractors, tried to project manage that and organise the various contractors and pull this whole thing together, whilst in all honesty, very, very little knowledge about the way these things worked, and a massive, obviously, pull on my time at a point in my career where I was also working full-time as a professional rugby coach, and we were about a year into having our first child, our daughter. So, you know, throw that in the stress pot and stir it up a little bit. Now, to finish off that story, by the way, I did complete the project. It didn't cost me 50, it cost me 70 plus furniture, plus nearly going into a court hearing with our plumbers, I think at the time. Contract-wise, knowing what I know now and looking back, contract-wise, I was massively at risk. I didn't have any sort of collateral warranty contracts with any of these contractors. I don't even think there was any paperwork in play. We had a nice joiner that looked after us, we worked with for a few years post that. But in all honesty, I got through it, best part of a year, still cost me £70,000 plus furniture. I can relate that story and say I did learn a lot, but I think the point of this video is, could I not have learned that in a better, more streamlined way? And how much further could I be along if I hadn't wasted that time? Because it actually took me 2 years to deliver 2.5 HMOs. Now, if that's what I delivered in 2 years, I'd be pulling my hair out. So these sorts of mistakes at the beginning of anyone's property investing journey, I would say is not bespoke to me. I think I've heard these are the mistakes that I made quite early on. There was a handful of others, but this would probably be the standout one. Now, this episode on our YouTube for you is kind of a case of, should we all be learning these same sort of bang your head against a brick wall mistakes when we've heard these stories before? And I'd like to think that you might listen, somebody at the other end of this might listen and go, I don't need to make those same mistakes. You know, the guys that you see, that you sort of look up to and think, wow, they're killing it in this industry, they are not doing that. They are not on-site project managing one project at a time. That is not how it works. They're plugging in relevant experts, relevant teams into a bigger wheel, and they are leveraging those teams. Now, you've heard that that word leverage before, you've probably got a little bit excited about it in the realms of creating passive income, in the realms of life leverage and, kind of accomplishing more with less time. But at the beginning of the journey, everybody still tries to do it themselves. I did it, hands up, but it baffles me why people still have to make the same mistakes. So if you're listening to this and you are early doors and that was your plan, you're thinking, well, I need to do it all myself because it's a financial perspective. Have you backtracked your numbers to this project? In my example, the construction project, have you tracked your numbers to it taking twice as long and still taking up all your time and probably costing the same amount of money? Because you haven't done your maths properly if you think that's saving you money. You could apply that same sort of perspective of return on time invested as well as ROI to finding property or working with the relevant legal teams and brokerages, those sorts of scenarios. It's going to be different for all of us. But the one thing I really want you to take home from this is if you are at the beginning, if you're not at the beginning, you already learned this lesson. But if you are at the beginning, please learn from this video and say, what parts of this process of buying, refurbishing, refinancing property and trying to do that over and over again, whilst probably working and having other aspects of life that are important to you, what aspects of this journey can I plug the relevant teams into to leverage that and to speed up my process, therefore speeding up the journey of where you're trying to get to. Now, yes, I have built subsequently, sort of 3 years into my property journey, I started the creation of the NPP Group, which is a set of businesses that basically plug into your property investment journey and enable you to leverage that team and speed up the process. Honestly, this is not just here's the problem, there's the sell, just use us, but you need to use somebody. You need to plug in a relevant part of the team to speed up the process, just like any other business. Yes, of course, if you'd like to use us, I'm sure you can find a contact around here somewhere, get in touch and speak to the team. If you're not quite ready to take action and get in touch with the team now, that's absolutely fine. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and learn more about property investing with us.